blood flow is life force in motion. It is the delivery system for oxygen, for nutrients, for immune cells, hormones, even electrical signals. Without proper circulation, healing is slow. It leaves pain lingering, and the body stays stuck in a cycle of inflammation and degeneration. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another 10-minute training. Today we're going to be talking about blood flow and how this is the foundation of healing. Ultimately, we want to get blood flow to our limbs, to our extremities, to our organs. This is the foundation of healing in a natural capacity. We often focus on detox, on nutrition, on supplements, on balancing our energies, and these are all very powerful. But this one thing, this blood flow component, often goes overlooked. Now, blood flow is life force in motion. It is the delivery system for oxygen, for nutrients, for immune cells, hormones, even electrical signals. Without proper circulation, healing is slow. It leaves pain lingering, and the body stays stuck in a cycle of inflammation and degeneration. So in this training, I want to unpack why restoring blood flow is essential for natural healing and how we can stimulate circulation non-invasively with the technologies that we use. So when we're dealing with our clients, we want to pay attention to this because many people, especially as they age, will start to experience limited blood flow. Now, blood flow equals that nutrient and oxygen delivery. Every cell in your body depends on oxygen and nutrients to function, to repair, to thrive in general, right? So poor circulation means that cells are starved of nutrients. Toxins accumulate, inflammation increases, and healing slows down dramatically. Areas with the least blood flow, as I mentioned, limbs like your extremities here, as well as joints, areas where scarring has occurred, even fascia, these are often the slowest to heal, which is why many chronic pain stem from this stagnant tissue. If you've ever had cold hands, cold feet, brain fog, chronic fatigue, this is all going to come down in part to circulation. Now, blood flow does, as I mentioned earlier, support detoxification and immune function as well. It's not just about delivery, it is also about removal. So it helps to remove the waste through the lymphatic and venous systems. And when circulation is poor, detoxification becomes sluggish. This can lead to a toxic buildup in tissues, to increased inflammation, weakened immune response, and a higher risk of infection and chronic disease. Now, we know that good blood flow helps the cleanup crew move, which this ultimately just supports longevity and vitality. It's going to really improve your body's natural healing state, even when it's not in need of healing. Now, what about the bioelectric connection? Now, the capillaries themselves are only wide enough for a single red blood cell to pass through at a time. That's how precise and delicate this microcirculation system is. And these tiny vessels, we often talk about microcurrent from a nerve's perspective, but these tiny vessels respond not just to pressure and heat, but also to electrical signals. So therapies like microcurrent and PEMF actually stimulate vasodilation. This is the expansion of blood vessels. For those of you using our Pinnacle device, you might know the mode VASO, VASO. Stands for this. This is the ultimate blood flow enhancing mode. Now, this also helps to increase ATP production. So this improves your cellular energy. It improves oxygen exchange in the tissues themselves, and it enhances lymphatic drainage and fluid movement. If you think of it like turning on the hydration and healing faucet in the body, this is what it's really doing. When blood moves, energy moves. And then we get to the brain as well. One of the most dramatic benefits of improving circulation is cognitive clarity and nervous system regulation. The brain uses 20% of the body's oxygen, so that's a pretty big chunk. If blood flow to the brain is compromised, you can experience brain fog, poor memory, emotional dysregulation, headaches, migraines, Things like vagus nerve stimulation, scalp microcurrent using the brush electrode, even breath work, hydration, these can all help to restore cerebral blood flow. And when that happens, mental sharpness returns, and so does emotional balance. So, how do we restore blood flow naturally? So, there are to me 5 key things here that can be very beneficial. 3 of them are energy medicine. First off, microcurrent therapy. Nothing enhances circulation more than microcurrent therapy does. It activates the fascia and the underlying muscle tissue to increase that blood and lymph flow. And especially if you're dealing with an injured or a congested area, this is where you're going to see the most benefit with this. Now, next on the list would be PEMFs, and they don't often rank very high in my in my list for things. But these stimulate vasodilation as well as red blood cell flexibility, which allows for deeper oxygen and nutrient absorption too. It just doesn't do it as well as microcurrent. For example, microcurrent can be 450 to 480% increased circulation. PEMF is about 120%. Now, next we have Scalar. Now, Scalar Energy is something that we find has vast uses, and it does improve circulation, but it's definitely the weakest of the energy medicine tools. In fact, Scalar Energy, we've kind of measured to be about 80% increased blood flow. Still good, but it doesn't touch the microcurrent or the PEMF. But it ultimately supports the energy patterns in the body and the coherence of them. And this reduces inflammation, supports flow on a quantum level. Now we get out of the energy medicine and we look at movement and stretching. Gentle movement, especially fascial stretching and walking, this is one of the simplest ways to pump blood through the body. Even just getting massage can help to improve that circulation to the area, which can help a lot with muscle and tendon pain. And then we have hydration and mineral balance. This really should rank first on the list because if we're not hydrated, we are stuck in so many different ways. And we're going to be talking more and more about hydration as the year ticks on here. But blood is 90% water. Without adequate hydration, without electrolytes, it just can't flow properly or reach the capillary beds efficiently in our bodies. So make sure your clients are drinking water. They have to stay hydrated. So many people live with this kind of stagnation in the cells and the body, and they don't even realize it. And common signs of compromised circulation can be things like cold extremities. So we want to keep an eye on this in patients. More often than not, chronic pain patients have cold extremities. That or hot extremities, which would be a lot of circulation, but maybe not flowing properly. Varicose veins can be a sign as well. Numbness and tingling, which can be a sign of peripheral neuropathy, which is caused by a lack of blood flow to the tissues in the early stages. Edema or swelling, chronic fatigue, poor wound healing. So if you've got wounds that are slow to heal, poor circulation is the culprit. Even erectile dysfunction, simply poor circulation can contribute to this condition. Brain fog and low immune resilience, these are all signs that your circulatory system is not working. The good news is that most of these things, if not all of them, are reversible, often dramatically when you restore that blood flow to the tissue. So as a practitioner, think about this when you're looking at your clients. Think about how you can improve that circulation and how much work that one treatment can carry. Modes like VASO, modes like FNRSI, these are optimum modes for blood flow. When we did the wound healing study, we originally used VASO. Now in the repeats in the US, Stanford University and Baylor School of Medicine, we used RSI. So you want to kind of look at these different modes and see which one you have. But either way, these are excellent modes for improving circulation. And even if you're using PEMF, opt for the right frequencies, these same modes that can do this. And even just 10, 15 minutes of pad treatment can be extremely beneficial. So, final thoughts here. I think it's important that we start to view, even though we're doing it passively with microcurrent, that circulation is a very core part of healing. So, where blood flows, healing goes. Think about it that way. If you can get the blood there, you're gonna be healing. If you've been doing all the right things with your clients, but you're not seeing results, think about improving blood flow. This could be the missing piece. Whether you're using microcurrent, PEMF, breath work, just focusing on hydration, your goal here is to wake up the body's natural ability to nourish, detoxify, and repair itself. And it all starts with circulation. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you found this informative. We will be back next week with another 10-minute training. So I hope you'll join me then. Until then, take care and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.